up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Michelle, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. In today's video, I want to freak out about what Leigh Bardugo did to me after reading King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. So let the rant begin. If you have not read the books, this might be a good time to say that it is a spoiler hazard. It's hard to top the Six of Crows duology, but this is pretty damn close. So I don't want to ruin this really good duology for you. This might be a very long video if I were to do like what happened in King of Scars and what happened in Rule of Wolves. I'm just going to combine what in my opinions were just insane plot twists and the big arcs that happened, and also a review of the deaths that I did not see coming and hurt me. It not as much as it hurt when she killed off Matthias the way that she did, but it still did hurt. We're looking at Nikolai, Zoya, and Nina. Mainly, they are our main POVs throughout the duology, and Zoya is commanding general of the Second Army. Good for her. She got herself a very deserving promotion. Nina is often Fierda because she wants to fulfill the promise she made to Matthias of burying his body, giving it back to DL what he deserves to be, something like that. Now, to the details. Nina is tailored by Genya to look like a Fierdan, so she does not have that Nina curved, voluptuous body that we know and love. She also does not have that beautiful dark locks of hair. She's now blonde, blue-eyed, and it's so hard to picture her that way because it's so hard to see Nina not look like Nina. There are no fan arts available of Nina looking like this Fierdan widow who goes by the name of Mila. I can't picture it very well. So up to this point, I don't think my visual perception of her is correct, but it's something. But yeah, I just miss Nina looking like Nina because at the end of Rule of Wolves, she still stayed looking like that. So she didn't go back to change and look like her original self. And then catching up with the rest of the gang, Genya, David, Tamar, Tolia, they're doing good. These guys are doing well for themselves. Genya and David are married, but not like officially married. Tamar is married to Nadia, and Tolia is just married to his poetry. If you are a singleton, Tolia is your spirit animal. He is the embodiment of every single person on this planet and what we aspire to be, being single. So now there's the triumvirate. That's probably wrong, but yeah, so representatives of the Grisha order. So we've got Genya in Corporalki, I think I'm saying it wrong. Zoya in Ethereal Kai, and David for Material Kai. These representatives, obviously, they will guide and teach and nurture future Grishas of that respective sectors. We learn very quickly that David and Nikolai are working on a new battleship. They call it a battleship, I believe, in the books. This is something that will help them later. It's either going to forge an alliance with the Kirch or Novi Zem. Well, bonding an allegiance with the Kirch can be very tricky because those guys, they don't care about you. They just only care for what they could gain for themselves and what benefits them. So Nikolai made a very, very wise choice in siding with Novi Zem. He knows what he's doing, obviously. Why are we surprised about that? Then there's this whole ordeal of Nikolai being married off. Also, like, Zoya is the one looking for this perfect candidate for his future to-be wife. It's like, girl, sign yourself up. You're perfect for him. What are you doing? And because of that, we meet Princess Aerie and her trusty bodyguard, Mayu Kirba. Let's just call her Mayu. And Mayu's a twin. Interestingly, her twin brother is captured. It was said that he volunteered, but we all know that they captured him and turned him into a Kurgud soldier, which is what the Shuhan did with Grishas. They capture them, install a bunch of metal replacements for their natural limbs, and enforced like wings, claws, horns on them. Whatever it takes to make them look like perfect soldiers and using their Grisha powers to their advantage. So that's what the Shu are doing with Grishas, whereas Fierdans have been just injecting them with a bunch of param. Both are just as crazy, and it's just sad. That's what grief does to people. It's really saddening. Okay, so back to Princess Aerie. She is the youngest sister of the Taban family. She's also the daughter that her mom appointed to be future queen of Shuhan before she died. But then her oldest sister, Maki, M-I-K-H-I, pronounce that as you will. She, along with her like loyal advisor, are the only people who witnessed this. Aerie never knew, and she was also sent by her sister to go to Ravka to forge the alliance. Mayu pretended to be Aerie and then killed Isaac, who posed as Nikolai because Nikolai was not present. I'll get to that in a minute. And so Isaac dies instead of Nikolai when Nikolai is supposed to die. Mayu stabbed herself because of the guilt, or just because she couldn't live with herself without her twin, but then didn't die because the healers came just in time. We go to Zoya and we learn a lot about her life and what made her to be the Zoya we know of today. First of all, Najaleski is not her real name. She is born Zoya Nabri, which I can understand why she changed it. Najaleski sounds a lot more badass. She is the only child. Her parents sold her off to a nobleman at 9 years old because they're poor, like as if that's a good excuse to sell your kid ever. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that Nikolai was off and so this Isaac guy has to pose being King Nikolai? Let's get to that plot because this one, I did not expect this at all. Nikolai and Zoya are off with this monk named... I forgot his name. But this monk that worships the Starless Saint, which is what they call the Darkwing, because for some reason they think what he did was admirable and saint-worthy. They need to get their priorities straight. Nikolai and Zoya and this monk are off to figure out what the hell has been triggering this demonic darkness inside of him, and so they tried to find the source of this thing, and they found it in the fold where it was first created by the Darkling, and they got trapped in there because apparently there has been 3 saints locked in this immortal realm: Sancta Gregory, Elizaveta, and Sancta Eurus. Okay, I thought I would hate Eurus, but then I read more and I'm like, this guy is awesome. I love him. He and Zoya are pretty much the exact same person, but Eurus was definitely a lot more dated than she is. Elizaveta, I thought I would like her, but girl, she betrayed me. She betrayed me hard, and I got some trust issues right after that because I was hurt. She hurt me. And Gregory, oh god, the way that Elizaveta killed Gregory was just horrible. She's an absolute monster, and all because she believes that she is the Darkling's ultimate other half and she's destined for greatness, and she cannot be contrapped in this realm where she cannot be the god that she's meant to be. It's just selfish, you know, she's just selfish. In this realm, they're trapped, and Nikolai was said that he can get rid of this darkness by performing the Obis Baya ritual, which of course Elizaveta lied. She did not want to take, well, she did want to take the demonic part out, but not to save Nikolai's ass. But that's because that was the only living remnants of the Darkling's power. So it turns out in Ruin and Rising, when they burned Alexander's body, no, they didn't burn him. They burned another body that looks like the guy. Apparently Elizaveta somehow managed to steal his body and preserved it so that when the time comes, she could bring him back to life. Things happened. Zoya turned into a dragon. That's also a really long story. Basically, Eurus, he is called a dragon slayer because he was said to have killed a dragon and took its power as his amplifier. But here's the thing, amplifiers don't work that way back in their days. In modern day Grisha, yes, they have to kill the creatures and to gain their amplifying powers. But back in the day, you don't kill the creature and just solely left them to die. You kill them, but right at that moment, you merge yourself with them. So with Eurus, he merged himself with the dragon. Elizaveta, she merged herself with the beast. Gregory with the bear. So Eurus is part man, part dragon. And because Elizabeth killed him, and he was like, I don't want this power to go to waste. Zoya, I'm gonna give it to you. Kill me, take my scale. So now Zoya's a dragon. Woohoo! If only she... and that was just the beginning of how cool she gets. I don't remember the specific technicalities of it, but the Darkling spirits did rise up, ended up needing a host to possess, and so it claimed the body of the monk that they were with. Well, essentially, the Darkling resurrected in the form of this monk, which he will eventually inhabit fully. Kind of feel bad for the monk, but I also forgot the name of the monk, so that would mean he was not that important in my eyes anyway. So take a break from Ravka because that was a whole lot of stuff that happened. We're gonna go to Nina now. You can only imagine reading all of this, and you have to process so much, and you can't because you kind of want to finish the whole book that same day, but you know you can't because there's just too much stuff that you have to process. Okay, Nina, in King of Scars, you see her in Fjerda with Adric and Leonie. Their mission is to get as many Grishas out and ship them to Ravka. I say that as if we're like talking about inanimate objects. I'm so sorry. So I wanted to point out how sad the first half of King of Scars made me, because Nina kept kind of hearing Matthias's thoughts talking to her, but really it's just her talking in Matthias's voice to her. We see her really dealing with her grief. You can just feel it because every emotion she felt, every time she does something, she feels that he's still with her because he is that moral compass for her. But dang, it's just so hard to see her deal with all of that and having to do the right thing and save people when she really also just needs to save herself. But she gained back her confidence. The Nina we know and love, she came back and she got out of her grief, and she is ready to tackle these unforgivable, ungrateful Fjerdans. She now lives in Coven for young girls who are sent by their families to be trained to be obedient and proper wives. There she met Han, who then we learn to be Han Brum, Jarl Brum's kid. Wow, what a plot twist. Didn't see that one coming, I really didn't. Thought that there was no woman that insane to marry that guy. Apparently there is. And produced a surprisingly wonderful daughter, very open-minded, very beautiful, very strong, determined, stubborn like her dad. At least she got something from him. They fell in love, obviously. Okay, I kind of hate myself because I spoiled that part for me. I was doing some wiki research. I don't know what I was looking for, but then I learned that Nina fell in love with Han Brum, and I was like, who's Han Brum? And then I read the book and I'm like, oh, that's Han Brum. Count how many times I've been saying her name now. We didn't really see much of Nina in King of Scars, which is kind of sad. Her main plot was just to get the Grishas out, meet Han, and then stayed back in Fjerda where Adric and Leonie went back to Ravka with all these Grisha women. She stayed back with Han to deal with Jarl and the war that they plan on bringing to Ravka, because Fjerdans just can't stop, can they? There's literally so much in this book that I cannot possibly talk about it in just one video, but I have to, or I could do a part 2 of this video and freak out even more, which I could, because there's so much stuff to freak out about. Here's another thing. Leigh writes in cliffhangers, and not cliffhangers at the end, but cliffhangers in between chapters. So because each chapter is a perspective of a character, she would start something with their plot and then ends their chapter with like a question, and then move on to another character, and then ends their chapter in another question. So now you got 2 questions unanswered, and then you move on to character number 3. Same thing happens, and then only after 3 or 4 chapters later, the question from the first character is answered. So you're just like there wanting to finish the whole book overnight, but I've got other things to do, so I couldn't, and that made me very, very sad. But I got to the end of it, and whew, it was a journey, but it was a well worth ridden journey. And so thank you, Leigh, for ruining me yet again. Next up, I want to talk about David Caustic, a character that I would not have imagined falling in love with and caring for as much as I do now, because we first see him and he's this quiet guy who likes to just be in the background, do nothing, say nothing, and avoids any human contact. relatable. He doesn't show his compassion or heart to a lot of people, but when he does, it's so full and you get all of it. It's 0 or 100 with him. So he and Jenya are working towards being more communicative and expressive about their feelings, which I love the way that it was being told, because like Jenya has these little tests for him. So like she would see how he'd react if she wanted comfort or words of affirmation, things like that, and see if he passes the test, well, based on what he does as a reflex. He's just grown so much and he's become a friend to everyone, especially Nikolai, because they bond so well with creating things. And I'm guessing David's become a brother that Nikolai never really had, even though he did have a brother, but just a really suckish one. You really do get to see how he has evolved, how he has learned to accept that he is surrounded by people that do love him, and so it's only fair for him to love them back. And he loves Jenya so much. It's so genuine and it's so pure. It's so innocent, their love for each other. And so when he is taken away from us the way that he was, literally the day after his wedding, I just can't not cry, because it was so sad. I think great authors manage to make characters that at first were overlooked to be characters that are then loved, and then great authors also found a way to make these newly loved characters die and make us cry just because. So these two books ruined me for that one, for many reasons, but for this specific one as well. All I'm saying is that these are characters that I haven't visited since, well, a long time, because you don't really see much of them in the Six of Crows duology. So to revisit these characters was very comforting and very nice, and to see them grow is just a whole lot better. It was like, I think that's why I love series, and everybody has their own reasons for loving their favorite series. But to me, it's all really the character development and how they don't just stay that way for the rest of the journey, but they changed. It shows how even fictional characters need growth. So if they can, why shouldn't we? I think I'm going to leave the ending of Rule of Wolves, because I feel like it's really taking a lot out of me to just talk and try to summarize it all, because I really can't summarize it all. There's just so much, and I still want to delve deeper into Nina's story, because I feel like it's not fair to not talk about her as much as I'm talking about Nikolai and Zoya. So I'm gonna film a part 2 eventually. I don't know when I'm going to upload it, but it will happen. So yeah, that is it for today. I need a mental break from all of this. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me rant, because I needed this. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while now. I've read the books a while ago, but I just haven't had time to film this rant. At least I got most of it out of my system. I still need to get a lot of the Nina stuff out of the way too. Alright, with that, I'ma just end this video and take a break. Maybe watch a Shadow and Bone show again. And I can't wait to meet Nikolai on screen. Hopefully they do him justice and cast the right guy, because if not, I would be pretty bummed, and so will the rest of the Grishaverse family. So thank you guys so much for watching and for sticking around till the end of this video and hearing all of my ranting. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do, and also click that notification bell to be informed, alarmed, notified of when I post another video every week. And yeah, give this video a like and comment down below. What are your favorite things about the Grishaverse or this specific duology? And if you're Team Nikolai and Zoya, because I definitely am. I hope you guys all having a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in my next video. See ya!